Welcome to my channel, everyone. Bitcoin is currently trading at 111,275 US dollar. In this video, we are going to talk about Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP, and Solana. Things remain exciting, so make sure to watch until the end. And if you also want to trade with cheap taker fees, then I can recommend you the crypto exchange mexc. So over 100 tokens are tradable without any kind of fees, and here you can see a huge list of altcoins which you can trade. And for the other coins, you have to pay some fees, which are also compared to the other crypto exchanges very low. But in addition to that, you can save another 20% if you use my referral link, which you can find in the video description. So some bad news happened. That's why this sell-off happened. So basically, Israel striked on Qatar. Basically, not Qatar directly, but there was a key leading position from the Hamas side who was based in Qatar, and they just shot their rocket into Qatar 2 or 3 hours ago, 4 hours ago, somewhere there. So, and my speculation is a bit against what the media says. So basically, hear me out. Iran also striked on Qatar. They did it mid-June this year because they wanted to attack a US military base, which was in Qatar. So Qatar also has an air defense system, and the air defense system worked when Iran attacked. So basically, the attack from Iran got blocked successfully, no deaths, no damage, nothing. The question which I'm asking is, how did Israel manage to shoot a rocket to Qatar without getting the air defense system of Qatar reacting to that attack? Also, as it seems, the USA also gave the go for that attack. And it might be even possible that Qatar shut their air defense system off because they knew Israel is going to attack the Hamas guy. So that's why the whole situation is a bit weird to me. And I personally think that Qatar allowed that attack. Like I said, they have an air defense system, and this should have at least do something. Yeah, it can also fail, not a big deal, to be honest. Then we know at least that Qatar tried to defend it, but it did nothing. So for sure now in the media, Qatar says, hey, we are not going to do any kind of negotiations anymore. We are not going to help as a middleman. It is a bit political difficult right now, but in my opinion, it's just publicity. It's for the media. Yeah, they're attacked, and Qatar can't say now, okay, yeah, we allowed this. But in the end of the day, the only thing which really mattered to me was the air defense system, because as I know, it's not even that bad. So basically, yeah, we have to look into the crypto chart. And the chart showed us some bullishness. We don't have any kind of bullish divergence. Yeah, we got the sell-off from Bitcoin into the upper part of the purple box. So what I can imagine is that two options. The first option is, yeah, we don't care anymore, and we get good news, everything is fine, we can push. If this is going to be the case, then I have to wait for the 113,420 US dollar. If they break to the upside, then this inverted head and shoulders formatation is going to get activated. I also took, like I said in my posts, for every single coin a long position, because this dip here was on support and many of the other coins were also at support. That's why I took long positions there, and I'm ready to scale up once we break for Bitcoin the 113,420 US dollar to the upside. The second option is, if we look into the RSI, we don't have a bullish divergence. So it can mean that we are just going to get a small push, get a lower low in the chart, which would be a higher low in the RSI. Then we have a bullish divergence, higher lows in the RSI, lower lows in the chart, and from here we can push. Both of the scenarios, in my opinion, are going to get invalidated once we break the 110,220 to the downside. If they break to the downside, the red trend line right here, then I think that we are going to see a bigger push to the downside, which can even reach prices down to 102,290 US dollar or even 101,160 US dollar, where we have the end of a significant fair value gap. Otherwise, I have to say, so far, it's long to me, with the chance of getting a good entry before we even break to the upside. Stop loss lower than 110,236 US dollar. Once we break the 113,420 US dollar to the upside, like I said, the invert head and shoulders formatation is going to get activated. My personal target, 117,560 US dollar. If we also break it to the upside, then we have to think about filling the fair value gap, which reaches prices up to 119,380 US dollar and 123,277 US dollar for Bitcoin. If we now look over Ethereum, we have set for Ethereum we have to break the $4,365 to the upside to be positive. We tried to break it to the upside right here. And in this market stage, we wicked over it, but we didn't get a sustainable breakout. What we wanted to see is several candle closes over 4,365 US dollar, inclusively a retest, then we can long it. I still opened my long position down below here because we are at good support like we can see in the past. If I just make the orange trend line a bit longer, then you can see here we bounced 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 times so far. So basically, in my opinion, this support should hold. If it's not going to hold, the next support is 4,257 US dollar and stop loss is going to be set lower than that for my long position. What we can also see is, for that I have to delay it a bit to make it more visible. So, in orange, this reminds me of a rectangle. So if we break the rectangle to the upside, the current price mark is the 4,387 US dollar. If that breaks to the upside, target 4,487 US dollar. And once we also break it to the upside, then my personal target is going to be 4,725 US dollar for Ethereum. And there we have to see if we are going to sell off and get this kind of scenario just on a later time, or if we are actually pushing to the upside sustainable with a new all-time high. So far, $4,257 have to hold. If they also break to the downside, 4,100 to 3,908 US dollar is going to be my target because we have here significant fair value gaps. If we now look over XRP, then congratulations to everyone who took the trades, because if we look into the past, we have had a huge falling wedge which broke to the upside right here. Target is still ongoing, the $3.34. Now let's break it into smaller chart patterns. We have set $2.90. If they break to the upside, then we are going to take the long trade into at least $3. There we have to see if we are going to form some bullish chart pattern like a bull flag. And we had a bull flag which got invalidated with one candle. So this here was the bullish market stage, which I have said this would be very bullish if we break to the upside and build something like a bull flag. We invalidated this, but in the end of the day, yes, I can take this one out of the chart, but the trend line was still there with many touch points, which we also broke afterwards to the upside. And what I've also said is if we get to $2.93 again, then this would be very good to scale up XRP with a stop loss at break even. So if we took the trade right here, the first trade, we could have doubled up right here and stop loss break even, because the average would be somewhere here. Break even would be also plus minus 0 for the stop loss, and just let the trade roll. I increase my position size for XRP again for this price movement, because in my opinion, we already had the $3 as a target. And in the end of the day, we went there with one push. We got a retest at $2.93. and we went into the next target, which was at $3.01. We even overshot it, $3.03. I can take those chart patterns out of the chart. So basically the orange one, $3.01, $3.02, was from this inverted head and shoulders formatation. And we took the least bullish target. The maximum extension is still on the chart, $3.08 for XRP. So basically, what can I imagine? I can imagine that two scenarios. It might be possible that we are just going to fill the fair value gap, and then we form an head and shoulders formatation, which is bearish. If we break it to the downside, then I'm out of the trade. And breaking it to the downside means breaking the current price mark of $2.94 to the downside, but this is an upwards trend line, so over the time the price is going to move to the upside. Once we break it sustainable to the downside, then I want to be out of the trade, because the possibility of selling off more, for example into the $2.87, this is the length of the left shoulder, put it then to the breakout point, is higher in my opinion, and we always have the chance to sell off into the maximum extension of that pattern, and that would get us into $2.83, and this would be a huge loss for me, and that's why I don't want to wait for the chart pattern. Once it gets activated and we can work off with a higher chance at least one of those two targets, then I don't want to wait and hope that we are going to see something bullish in that price area. And I'm not going to hold my position then in losses just to hope that we are going to see a, I don't know, falling wedge, for example, which afterwards breaks to the upside. I'm not trading like this. If we really sell off, I get out of my trade. And if we are going to form, for example, a falling wedge afterwards and we break it to the upside, then I can jump again into a trade down below here instead of holding my loser trade. Because we never know if we are going to sell off more and more. So basically, target is still ongoing, $3.08. If they break to the upside, then we have to see $3.14 is also a key level where I would increase my position size. And here it depends more on how we break to the upside. So this is here the best case scenario. Best case scenario is we break it, the $3.08 to the upside, retest it, increase our position size, and afterwards break the $3.14 to the upside, retested it, and increase our position size again. Then we have a very huge position size for XRP for the push into the price mark of $3.30, where we have a fair value gap and where we have the target of the old falling wedge. We can also get a different breakout. It can also be we get one huge push without getting a retest on the $3.08, for example. We push over $3.14 and then sell off a bit more, retesting the $3.08 on the later time, or even we don't care about retesting the $3.08 and we get this kind of movement. So we have to look closely once those price marks breaks to the upside, and then we have to take our trade depending on how the price developed. So if we now look over Solana, yes, for Solana I also took a long trade, even though I have said I don't like to trade Solana. I don't like to trade Solana. Why? Because we are still in the huge rising wedge, which you can see right here. So this whole movement is a rising wedge to me, and I think you agree also to me. This is a corrective movement to the upside. From my experience, if those kind of, and this is a big bearish chart pattern, yeah, it's not a small one. If a big bearish chart pattern like this breaks to the upside, so invalidates this pattern, and this would be once we break the $221.50 to the upside, then this chart pattern would be gone in my opinion. And then the push is going to be huge. Everyone thinks Solana is bearish. Many short positions developed over the time. Shorting, for example, always on those tops. And their stop loss is going to be somewhere here. And once that gets triggered, price can move up a lot. This is what I'm betting on right now. Why that? Because the overall market structure looks bullish to me. XRP still has space to the upside. Ethereum didn't break to the upside yet. Bitcoin also not. But other coins like, for example, HBAR. HBAR already invalidated one bearish chart pattern, and look the price movement to the upside. looks very good. So basically, if we look into those kind of coins, Tau, for example, also broke to the upside here, a second, even a third retest of a falling wedge, but it has some potential to the upside, some good potential. And I see if the market is having that kind of potential, then in my opinion, Solana is not going to go sideways. It also should break to the upside, and then we can see some movement. Also here, keep in mind, I have to take this one to the right side a bit. Keep in mind that this can also be an head and shoulders formatation. If that breaks to the downside, then yes, we can sell off a bit more for Solana. If not, then I think $221.50. If that breaks to the upside, then I would increase my position size heavily for Solana for the next good push, which in my opinion should go at least first target $225, but my overall target is up here, $250, or even, what price mark is it? $280. Yeah, but taking profits at $250 is in my opinion the smartest choice which we have right now. We don't know what is going to happen in the future, what we are going to develop, but if we are going to develop something cool, then we can even let the trade roll a bit longer in my opinion. So with that said, thank you for watching, and we see each other in the Sui, Avalanche, HBAR and Dogecoin update.